Okay, so the central issue that I've got right now is not the number of points, it's that they're really not in the right shape. And the main ones that are currently my problem are these that are extending way out and are not forming these sharp points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the points that are in fact the problem. I'm going to grab the anchor point tool. It used to be called the convert anchor point tool. And with my handles visible, I'm going to grab one of the handles, and that allows me to split that curve. That's as far as I'm going to go with that right now, because the rest of getting this right is using the white arrow to shape it further. So for this moment, all I'm using this tool for is to activate, and so I held down the command key to click on the next point that I needed to do. I've got that convert anchor point tool still. Getting that to split as I need it to. I'll go to the next one, get that one to split. And by split, I mean the two portions of the curve are now functioning independently, and that's what I needed them to do. And once I've done those, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4 places that had to happen, I come back with a white arrow. I manipulate the handles. You don't grab the line segment. You're going to always move the point or the handle, and push and pull and rotate and do all those kinds of things until your curve fits better. And a lot of people find this just a little bit easier than trying to draw it the other way. And I would just keep tweaking this guy. And the issue right now is actually that point is not in a good place. If you have a really, really hard time getting a curve to fit, sometimes it's because the point isn't actually in the correct position to allow you to do that. And if you move that point, you may find it's a little easier to achieve the shape that you're after. That one's not in the right place either. But I had the right number of them. That was what was more critical. Okay, so almost there. A little bit more here. And a little more uphill. I'm not dead sure I've got 2 there, and I probably only need 1. Okay, so that's pretty good. I've got a little bit off in a couple of spots, but it is definitely workable. All right, so now that I have this half, I could try to apply the stroke, but it's going to be inside and outside because this is currently an open shape. I'm not going to be able to make this look correct until I've done the flipping part. So I'm going to show you what I mean by that. All right, first of all, I'm going to select the entire path that I just drew. I'm temporarily going to turn off the other one so you can see that that is in fact selected. I can toggle the original back on. With the half to fleur-de-lis selected, I'm going to go over, and it's underneath the rotate tool. So you click and hold, and I need the reflect tool. I don't want to click anywhere on screen all by itself. I can do this one of 2 ways. I can double click on the tool, which opens up a dialog box, and type in the information I want and all that kind of good stuff. And that would work, certainly. So vertical axis, and I would click on copy, and I get a copy, but it often confuses the crud out of people because it's not remotely where you need it to be. So yes, that would work. I could drag it into the proper position and so forth. But if that freaks you out, you can also use this tool. And I've got the reflect tool again. I've got the left hand side of the fleur-de-lis active. I'm going to hold down my Option key. If you're on a Windows machine, it will be your Alt key. And I'm going to click on that central line, on that symmetry line that I drew earlier. So Alt click, and it's going to pop open the dialog box. What this did is it set the central point around which the copy or the actual version of this is going to be flipped. So it makes it easier so I don't have to drag it over after the fact. Vertical is still correct, and I'm going to click on the copy button. And now I end up with the right and the left hand side of this in the proper position because I clicked on that central axis. All right, now what I cannot do still, if I try that stroke panel and I try to push the full stroke to the inside, it's not going to work because these are still two halves. They're not a whole, and so the whole is what I need to create. I'm going to turn off the original, and I'm going to zoom in on the very top. And I am going to use, I've got the white arrow right now. That's very important. You got to do this with the white arrow. I'm going to draw a little tiny box that is going to select those 2 points that are touching but not joined at the very top section. And then I'm going to go to my object menu, to path and join, or Control J. And then I'm going to do exactly the same thing on the bottom. So I'm going to zoom in as far as I need to go, draw a little tiny box that just catches those 2 points, and this only works if it's 2 open endpoints on 2 separate path segments. If it's more than 2, it doesn't work. If it's less than 2, it doesn't work. And if it's not open endpoints, it doesn't work. And Command J, and it's telling me apparently that I've got more than 2 things selected. Oh yeah, I definitely did. And I still do. Okay, what's going on? This is the most frustrating part, is if you catch more than 2, and it may be I think when I drew this earlier, there was an extra point somewhere in there. So if in doubt, I'm going to hide this temporarily. So if you started drawing it and you deleted stuff at any point, you might have some leftover bits like I do. It's not going to work so long as the leftover parts are still there. I hid the part that I had just done the drawing with, got rid of the extraneous part, and I just told it to show again. Did the little box to grab those 2. I've joined them, and now I have one complete shape. I can tell this a couple of ways. First of all, because I should have extra options in the stroke panel, but secondly, when I click on it, I get the whole shape. I'm not getting the left and the right hand portions separately. If I increase this significantly, I can choose the align stroke, and I can push the whole thing to the center. I can turn on that original part again, and of course, other than the fact that it's the color of dirt, it looks pretty good. I am going to pick the red from the star, which of course was a fill, so back to that. It looks like, with the amount I have blown mine up, and this will vary with the scale of yours, that it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 to 17. Ooh, may even be 18. I don't know. You can zoom in and decide exactly how thick yours needs to be based on the scale of yours, but somewhere in the ballpark of 18 point is working for mine. And now that fleur-de-lis part is done. So I'm going to start and show you this method with shape primitives.